So here is how this works. This is the age the player is going to be during the season. This is what age they turn during the season. So you may see some of these players and say, hey, Cooper Flagg, he ain't 19, he's 18. But that's why. This is their government age, according to the NBA. So Cooper Flagg, best 19-year-old we got. Kind of boring, kind of stupid, but hey, what was I going to skip him? None of these guys have played in the NBA. Who's the best player that hasn't played in the NBA? Because you got to be a little knowledge for your asshole. I don't think you can say, shit, I said asshole. You can't be in the NBA unless you turn 18 during... I think you have to be 18 by the start of the regular season. I believe that is the rule in the NBA. It is so funny how she just meows. She meows like crazy once I start talking. She ignores me the entire day. And then once I start talking, it's like, hey, I want you to talk to me. Who are you talking to? So Cooper Flagg, let's move on. I really got nothing on Cooper Flagg. I went with Zaccharie Risacher. And this is going to be cool because I'm going to show you the other players I had to work with. And we can have a little conversation. We can start a little bit of argument. We can fight. But I went Risacher. Then I went Alex Sarr. And here's the thing. Sarr, I kind of wanted to say it was Sarr. Because Sarr, I think, scored more points per game than Risacher. Some people like Ron Holland. I like Ron Holland too. And I put him above Bub Carrington. Because we're going to look at the stats. The thing is, if you look at the advanced stats like I did a couple weeks ago on which players had the worst advanced stats, I hate to do it to him. It was Bub Carrington. So if you look at his offensive stats and you look at Bub's stats, you say, dang, dude, Carrington got to work on his rookie season. He was not efficient. Was Bub Carrington all rookie? Probably, right? I hope. I like Bub. So here's what we're working with. I put these players in and I put them, I sorted them by points per game. You know, what's the most important stat in basketball? It's points. Don't be one of those, don't have a different opinion than me. Come on, agree with me. You want me to like you? Agree with me. So, Sarr actually did score more points per game than Risacher, but I don't have their three-point percentage and their field goal percentage, but Risacher really turned up the field goals later in the season, and he shot way better than Sarr. So I gave it to Risacher. Who is Stephon? Hold on. So those are the 19-year-olds. Those are players that are going to be 19 during the regular season. Because you probably are thinking, well, what about Stephon Castle? Well, I'll show your ass. I'll show your ass about Stephon Castle. Are we going Stephon Castle or Stephon Castle? Is it going to be like Hartenstein, where whichever one I say, somebody yells at me? I want to say Stephon Castle. I think that's what I've heard the most. Stephen Curry, Stephon Castle. So of the 21-year-olds, this was pretty easy. Listen, I know a lot of people are probably saying Jared McCain. But Jared McCain, we saw him play for 18 games, and man, he was good. You know what? Small sample size, and I will not be fooled. I will not be fooled. And stay healthy, Jared McCain. Be more careful. Don't tear your thumb ligament. How about that? That's on you, McCain. And then what did he tear, his ACL last year? So I'm not going to reward guys who get hurt. I'm not going to chastise them. I'm not going to make fun of them. I'm not going to say they should feel bad about themselves. I'm just going to say, hey, if you want to make the best 21-year-old in the NBA on what shorts, got to play more games, brother. So Derek Lively is on this list too, so we can move to the actual list. So McCain had the most points per game, right? But, he played 23 games. But what am I going to do? Stephon Castle played 81 games. What am I supposed to say? Oh, Stephon, you should have just played really well in 23 games and then tore your knee. That's what you should have done. I got to reward him. He played 81 games. I want to go back. Scoot Henderson was on here. Scoot Henderson, not bad this year. I was looking at his shooting percentages weren't terrible either. So I said, and I didn't put Bilal Koulibaly. I know we got there was a French woman in the audience who's going to have something to say about that. Actually, they're not. I have never met a Bilal Koulibaly fan in my life. Nor has anyone said much love from France. We got a couple Brazilians in the house, a couple Serbians. Never a French. So what do you think? Looking at this list here, there's going to be some Kalel Ware fans out there, but I went Castle, Henderson, McCain, a reluctant McCain, and then Lively. So Lively's not even on here, but again, I'm sorting by points per game. The guy can rebound, the guy can block, and I like that in a man. I know I said points per game are the most important thing, and I stand by it, but I believe Lively is right underneath here, and he got a lot of rebounds. Tell me what you think. This one was easy. Wembanyama is going to be turning 22 this year, and he is by far the best 22-year-old in the league. Think about it. The next best 22-year-old is Dyson Daniels. Isn't that surprising? You know what I saw the other day? I was watching the Australian League. It was the Melbourne, the Melbourne United. They're playing the Pelicans. And there's a kid that looked just like Dyson Daniels. And they kept calling him Daniels. And I was like, what the heck? Dude, he's a brother. Ash Daniels. Looks just like him. 17 years old. Playing professional basketball in Australia. I'm excited about that. He's going to be in the NBA. I like siblings in the NBA. I like the holidays. I thought the holidays are so interesting because I think Drew is the middle child and he ended up being the best one. And then I remember Aaron Holiday and Justin Holiday played on the Pacers together. I thought they were twins, but they're like over 10 years apart. Did you guys have the same experience when you saw both Holiday brothers playing on the Indiana Pacers 3 or 4 years ago? You didn't. And then Jabari Smith Jr. And I put Shaedon Sharpe in here too. And I know Shaedon Sharpe stopped starting. I know Chauncey Billups wanted to punish him for not playing defense. Good on him. So he had a big streak of games where he did not start. But he still played a lot of minutes. And I'm still going to put him as the third best 22-year-old in the league. Let's take a look, man. Victor Wembanyama, 24.3 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 3.7, 3.8 blocks. Wow. Just look at this man's stats and then compare him to Shaedon Sharpe. Let's just ruin our perception of Shaedon Sharpe by comparing him to a physical anomaly. So I didn't want to put Keontae George just because I don't have his field goal percentage on here, but oof, man. Turnovers too. Sorry. And then Grady Dick, I like Grady Dick too, but 3.6 assists a game, 3.6 rebounds, 1.8 assists. Because I don't remember why. One of the other lists I made, I had to look at Grady Dick's stats, and he is a scorer. And that's it. He's like a Norm Powell, where I'll score. Don't you dare ask me to do anything else. I scored you 14.4 points a game. I'm coming off is this his rookie season? I don't think it is. I think it's his sophomore season. Don't remember. Anyway, so let me know. Maybe you're a Pods fan. Maybe you disagree. You're like, what about my man Pajemski? 11.7 assists. Also, do you see how many charges he takes a game? Show some respect. Put him as number 4. You know what I should have done? I should have done 2, 3, 4, not 1, 2, 3. But I think Paolo Banchero is the best 23-year-old. Then Jalen Green. I was not particularly impressed with the 23-year-olds. And this is what I found very fascinating is the ages you would think we'd get to like 23, 24, 25, and those would be where all the best players are. It's not true. Sometimes 23 isn't a great year for basketball players. Really, we just have Paolo and Chet's in here. Ooh, now I'm looking. I'm going to make the case for why Jalen Green is above Chet. Okay. Because I got the stats up. So if we're looking at Jalen Green, points per game, 21 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, 3.4 assists. And I know someone's going to come in and say, you're just looking at counting stats. I bet you didn't analyze tape. I bet you didn't sit down, watch a bunch of Jalen Green highlights, and then watch a bunch of Chet highlights and compare the two. And you're right. I didn't do that. I had a busy week. Forgive me. So this is one where people are going to have some disagreements. Maybe you think you got Kuminga in there. What do you think of the Kuminga contract? I'll tell you what I thought. On the Patreon. I love it. I found a reason to plug the Patreon mid-show. So I talked about the Jonathan Kuminga contract. I like it for both. But I have more to say on it on the Patreon. It's $2 a month. You get 4 podcasts a month. It's a pretty good deal. Anything else? What do you guys think? Jaden Ivey? We got any Jaden Ivey stands? I feel like I'll argue with you in the comments on Jaden Ivey. Or Benedict Mathurin. Maybe you think he should be on my list. I'm down. Anthony Edwards, this was an obvious one for me. Cade Cunningham's there, Evan Mobley, Franz Wagner. And the What Slap show is about when a player peaks in their NBA career. And it's interesting. It all depends on when a player decides that they're done developing their skill. I think if a player is consistently getting better at their basketball skill, 24 is where you peak. I think. Because I think Chris Paul was the fastest to develop his basketball skill. And if you're watching this at 8 a.m. on Monday, I'm spoiling the What Slap show that comes out in 45 minutes. Because Chris Paul, you know what? I'll shut up. I'm plugging the other show now. So Anthony Edwards was the obvious one to me because I think he's one of the best players in the league. I think if I was a gambling man, I saw odds on Anthony Edwards where he's like the 7th best odds of winning MVP. I think Donovan Mitchell had higher odds. Not bad. I might take it. I don't like gambling because it's just makes me anxious. I don't want to gamble. If you made me gamble and then I could pay to not, I would do that. It's sort of just like paying to have anxiety all throughout the regular season. So that's why I don't gamble. A lot of people find that exciting. I find fear and ambiguity. Those emotions make me physiologically feel bad, so I don't gamble. That's why. So this is what we got. Maybe you're a LaMelo Ball guy. I'm not. I like LaMelo Ball, but again, you got to play more games, pal. You need a strength and conditioning coach. That's what you need. Why is there no guru? There's no NBA guru who's the strength and conditioning guy. That could be a real, like, who was the guy that got Steph to, like, work with his hips? Do you know what I'm talking about? That was like a big story. It was Steph Curry now moves with his hips, not his ankles. And that changed the game for him. You know who I'm talking about? Do you remember that story? When everyone said, nobody believed in him. Then he started doing hip exercises. And now he's the Steph Curry. Like, why don't we know that guy's name who fixed Steph Curry and made it so he didn't get injured a lot? There is no person. There is no... If you're an athletic trainer, you should build your brand as the guy that can keep you healthy. My brother might be watching this show. He's an athletic trainer. I felt weird saying his name. Tyrese Haliburton. I think he's the best 25-year-old. Then I said Maxey. Then I said Zion Williamson. And then I watched 2 Pelicans games. I just watched the highlights. I'm not a freak. I'm not watching an entire Melbourne United versus the Pelicans. I'm not watching the Adelaide 36ers versus the Pelicans. I'm not spending 2 hours of my day like a loser. I watched the highlights. And I got to say, as a guy who doesn't like Zion Williams, I don't hate him. I don't hate anyone. I love him. He's my brother in Christ. But I root against him. And I got to say, Zion Williamson looked good. But I had to put him as number 3 on my list. And then I put Trey Murphy in here. Again, 25 is not a lot of great options at the age of 25. So we got Maxey, Zion Williamson, Trey Murphy, RJ Barrett, Kobe White, Tyrese Haliburton, Deni Avdija. What do you guys think? What do you think? Would you have Deni? I know Portland fans have a warped view of the world. You just do. You cannot see the world for how it really is. If you're a Portland Trail Blazers fan, you have a perception of reality. I'm not even saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's incongruent with the rest of us. You probably think Deni Avdija is better than Tyrese Haliburton. Oh, I know you do. I can hear you saying it. Dumbass Portland Trail Blazers fan. So Luka's the best 26-year-old. We had some good options at 26, though. I put Jaren Jackson Jr. above Ja Morant. I think he earned it. I think he earned it last season. I don't think Jaren Jackson Jr. made an All-NBA team, though. That was a big thing for Memphis, wasn't it? Memphis knew, because he was up for a contract extension, and if he hit third-team All-NBA, Jaren Jackson Jr. was going to say, oh, baby, Supermax contract me. I was Defensive Player of the Year a couple years back. Certainly they're going to give it to me. So, when Jalen Williams made third-team All-NBA, they were probably like, phew. Good thing our guy didn't get the recognition he was due. Because they did the extension, but it wasn't a Supermax. They couldn't offer it to him. Unless I'm wrong here. Did Jaren Jackson make third-team All-NBA? Anyway, he did better than Ja Morant, and he did better than Darius Garland. And I'm a Darius Garland glazer. I did this for everyone. People were criticizing me because I said, who's the best player in the 2018 draft? And obviously it was Luka Dončić, but I said Garland was I'm mixing my drafts up. I said that Garland was the best best draftee in the 2019 draft. The draft that Ja was also in, and Zion was also in. But this week I put Ja above Darius Garland because I didn't want to get yelled at because I'm spineless. Take a look. Tyler Hero doesn't have a lot of fans. I'll tell you what people that I criticize and I can feel people being upset about, and it does affect me, even though whenever I read a comment, I read it as the person leaving the comment is the most angry person and they're attacking my credibility as a YouTuber, when in reality, they probably just typed it in. They're like, hey, actually, I think you might be wrong about this. I just given on-off numbers, I think Ja Morant is better than Darius Garland, but I hear what you're saying. I just read it as the most angry thing possible, and then I get defensive. And then I want to attack back, and then I read it, and I'm like, they're actually right. Tyler Hero fans, though, no one's rooting for Tyler Hero. I don't know any Tyler Hero fans. Maybe some Jordan Poole people might say, hey, you should put my guy Jordan Poole over Darius Garland. And then the Naz Reid, the Minnesota fans are going to come out of the woodwork for Naz, but they know they're wrong. 27, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I have to move faster through this list. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, this wasn't hard. Tatum's good. I love Tatum. Listen, I glazed Tatum for 3 minutes on the last show. I think he's great. I think we're going to see Jason Tatum play next season. And why do I think we're going to see him? Because he wants to. He doesn't want to take a season off. Most players, I don't think we're going to see Dame next season. We might not see Kyrie next season. I think they're going to be nursing their injuries. I think they're going to be couched. They're going to be chilling a bit. I think Jason Tatum is a workaholic, and he'll be back. But he won't be better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Then I said Trae Young. I'm a Trae Young stan. Who's going on a better career trajectory? This is going to be a hot take. Damian Lillard. Will Trae Young be better than Damian Lillard? He's younger. He's 27. He might not even be 27 right now. I'm just saying. It's something to consider. The fact that Dame has so many stands. I think Dame, here's the thing. I went bad on Dame last week on the main channel. And I might be wrong. Dame he might have donated 10 million, 20 million, half his career earnings to like the Boys and Girls Club. He might have built a library in Portland. He might have really gave out turkeys on Thanksgiving. He might be literally the Pablo Escobar of Portland. They love Pablo Escobar in Colombia. There's murals everywhere. So they might be the greatest person of all time. So what I'm saying is my criticism of him, I might just shut up because he might actually be kind and a good guy. So having weird sports animosity to him might be a little unfair. And I went with Jared Allen as number 4 on here. Let's take a look. Maybe you got, what am I going to do? What's a girl to do? Miles Bridges. I like Miles Bridges' game, but I'm never going to say anything nice about him. I can't do that. I can't praise Miles Bridges. 20 points a game isn't good if it's coming from Miles Bridges. I can't. What do you want, Michael Porter Jr. on here? I was watching a little bit of the Nets play. What's the guy's name? It was who was it? Oh, it was my man. I'm TikTok friends with him. DL43. Shoot. He called them the Brooklyn Netanyahus because they were playing some team from Jerusalem in the preseason. And I thought it was so funny. And they also have they have a lot. I think they have a considerable amount of Israeli or practicing Jews on their team. I just thought it was so funny. Not to get political, but I just thought that was such a funny thing to say. Bam Adebayo at 28. And this was a bitch ass move on my part. I didn't want to hear the criticism putting De'Aaron Fox ahead of Bam Adebayo, even though Bam did have an off year. He did. Heat fans, I still put him on here. I still wanted to do it. But De'Aaron Fox, let's look at the points, man. De'Aaron Fox with 23.5 points. And then let's look at Bam. Let's defend Bam. 9.6 rebounds. It just wasn't a great year for him. But who provides more value to a team? And granted, I think a point guard's always going to be, it's like a quarterback. I think the point guard is the most important player on a team. Not to the degree that a quarterback is important on a football team, but I just think you're not going to win the championship with a bad point guard. So I wanted to put De'Aaron Fox in here. And I put Bam Adebayo as number 1 because I didn't want the smoke. I didn't want the engagement, bro. That's why. All right, we're back. I have to fly through this. I have to be better. We got to move quick. Jalen Brunson at 29. Then I went Donovan Mitchell. Then I went Devin Booker. I talked about this a little bit on the main show, but man, Devin Booker. We're going back to the Devin Booker of old. Actually, we're not. Do you remember when Devin Booker came into the league? Do you remember before Chris Paul got to the Phoenix Suns? Devin Booker was a joke. Devin Booker was LaMelo Ball, bro. Devin Booker was LaMelo Ball. He couldn't play defense. He was seen as like a twerp. He didn't have the deep voice either. I'm not kidding. Devin Booker, and he was a little bit shorter. He was seen as a twerp that was kind of sort of like a little bit like Trae Young too. He made an all-star team before they ever made the playoffs, but it was right before Chris Paul got there. But I talk about the 70-point game where he's holding up the 70 and his whole team is cheesing around him, smiling real big, and they had lost the game. Dude, Devin Booker was a joke before Chris Paul got to the Suns. I'm not joking. If you're new to the NBA, you're going to say, I cannot believe that. No, he was like a loser. He was a loser. No one took him seriously. If you're OG NBA fan, you remember the era of the Suns being absolute dog trash, man. Being doo-doo. Chris Paul, underrated player. It's fun to hate him. It's trendy to hate Chris Paul. And I don't like it. I don't approve of it. You know what's also really been bothering me? I hated it when there are so many things now that are becoming trendy to hate, and I'm sick of it, and I won't stand for it. Like Red Hot Chili Peppers. People are hating on the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Before that, people hated on Dave Matthews Band. Nickelback. I understood it. The music didn't age well. That's fine. But it was good. We liked it. We liked Nickelback. We liked Dave Matthews Band. I still like Dave Matthews Band. I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but now it's becoming trendy to say, they're not good. And then also, you know what got voted the worst song of all time? Home by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. That song rocked, and it still rocks. It's a good song, and I don't like it. Have your own opinion. Okay? Devin Booker sucked. I forgot my original point. What was I saying? We have to move fast? Okay, so Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell. All right, maybe you're a Jaylen Brown guy. I think I put him on here. Excuse me. I put Sabonis on here because I'm a Glazer. I think I'd rather have Sabonis than Brown. I would. Sabonis is underrated. I can't believe a team hasn't traded for him yet. Everyone's going to say he's not good on defense. He doesn't block shots, and you're right, but rebounds, assists, scores, I think he's great. I just think the Kings suck, and I think the Pacers kind of sucked when he was there. That's it, man. I think this guy really needs to get on a good team. It's just like y'all talking about Dame. Like, man, if he just had someone to play with, someone else that was good. People are still saying this shit. They're still saying, yeah, but Dame never had another star on his team. Well, except for the last 2 years. Bro. Dame's not that good. He's good. But don't act like he's Steph. That's what I'm trying to say. He is not Steph Curry. So don't. Oh, Nikola Jokic. Oh, yeah, okay. Duh. Best 30-year-old. But here's the thing. The 30-year-old category, not particularly popping, man. Look at the options of what we got. We got Jokic, Cat, excellent players. Love them both. Cat has his flaws. Jokic has no flaws. Then it was Zach LaVine, Kristaps Porzingis, Andrew Wiggins, and then Kelly Oubre. And it says 29 here, but I'm going with what they're going to be next season. This is the age when people start phasing out of the NBA. This is, we're all the way down. Will Kelly Oubre be in the league for much longer? I doubt it. Will Kuz? Probably not. This is what we're working with here. Most of the stars have sort of faded out by this age. Giannis at 31. Then we got Pascal. And then I went Joel Embiid. He sort of lost steam with me. Listen, at one point in time, Joel Embiid was looking like he was going to be better than Giannis. That was not crazy to say. Joel Embiid was looking like he was going to be better than Jokic. The season before, that season, I think it was 2 years ago, he played like 34 games before getting injured, and he had the highest PER of all time. Just because the man figured out how to get to the line. And I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't like guys getting the free throw line all the time. But if you want to be efficient in basketball, if you want to say, hey, I don't really care what my game looks like to you, I just want to win, and I want to get as many points as possible, I want to make a shot and then also go to the free throw line, Joel Embiid figured out how to do that. Sorry. He figured out the best way to play basketball. And then his knee exploded. So I went with Randall. Are you going to put Derek White above Randall? I'm not. I like Randall. I think Randall, for me, he put himself in the 4 position spot because of his work during the playoffs. He made LeBron look like a bitch. You look like a bitch. Have you heard that song? It's Kill Shot. Kill Shot by Eminem. It's that diss track on... It's the diss track on MGK from a long time ago. But he opens up the song. He says, you look like a bitch. No, he's like, you sound like a bitch. It's so funny. I think he's doing an impression of MGK. AD, the best 32-year-old. And then the next best is Norman Powell. Look, who do you think it is? It's Norman Powell. And again, Norman Powell, like Grady Dick, is I just score. If you pass me the ball, I ain't passing to nobody. If somebody misses a shot, I ain't going for a rebound. I'm a score guy. Woohoo. I stay in my lane. Better than Bradley Beal. And I think that's debatable, but I'm going, based on last season, Bradley Beal sucked it up, dude. He sucked it up, and Norman Powell really stepped up. So, Beal, I love you, my man, but Norman Powell's taking the number 2 spot. I thought about putting Schroeder on there, but he just didn't have the stats, because I like Schroeder. He's one of my favorite players, but I couldn't do it. Did I put Beal above Schroeder? Oops. I did. I put Beal above Schroeder. Okay. At 33 years old, Kyrie Irving. Then Rudy Gobert. Then Tobias Harris and Jordan Clarkson. That is how it falls off. That's how quickly it falls off as you get into your 30s. Okay? So let's look at our next options. Clarkson, 16.2 points per game. Again, only played 37 games, but in 26 minutes, he was getting 16.2. I think we're going to see the Knicks play Clarkson quite a bit. I think we kind of forgot about Clarkson as he wasted away, as he emaciated on the Utah Jazz. I don't like... Man, if I'm on... I think Lauri Markkanen really messed up, man. I think he did. I think he made a huge mistake. I think, listen, life's not all about money. I've learned this in my life. I've never been rich, but I will say I have more money than I ever thought I would make in my life. And that's not to say I have a lot of money, but that's to say I didn't expect to have much. And I will tell you, the more money I got in my life, the less happy I was. Okay? So, I imagine Lauri Markkanen is the richest he's ever going to be and the richest he's ever been. I am sure Lauri Markkanen, despite Finland having a pretty good Eurobasket, is the least happy he's ever been in his life. Just wasting away. You have no control. You're on a long-ass contract, golden handcuffed, to misery all NBA season because you're playing on a team that doesn't want to win. That is not freedom. Kawhi, 34. And I don't like Kawhi, but I had to do it. Because the next is CJ McCollum, Chris Middleton, and then Kelly Olynyk. We're at the age where you're lucky to even be on an NBA contract. So CJ McCollum averaging 21 points. It's funny how the number 2 and number 3 are 2 guys that have been banished to basketball purgatory. Not hell, because the hell is the Utah Jazz. I'm actually a little bit excited for the Wizards because I kind of want to see what they're going to do with CJ and Chris. Because those guys are trying to get out of purgatory into, basketball paradise. Or dare I say basketball heaven, where you win a championship. And then Kelly, I went on a date with a girl that went to prom with Kelly Olynyk. Just one date, didn't work out. but just to know the type of chicks I'm pulling and are rejecting me, but at least went on one date with me, they went to prom with a professional basketball player that's been in the league for 11 years. Not to brag. Dame, and again, I don't like Dame, but he's on my list. I say he's better than Paul George. I say he's better than Klay Thompson, and then I got Vooch on here. And I remembered there is somebody on here where people might disagree and say, I cannot believe you put Vooch on here. And it's Drew Holiday. I put Klay on here. Drew just didn't have a great season. Maybe you want to say Draymond Green, but I put Vooch on here because I looked at it and I was like, dude, 10 rebounds a game and 18.5 points? He played 73 games? Like, the Bulls weren't good, but you look at those stats and you have to say, oh my God, is Vucevic kind of good? I don't know. I don't watch Bulls games, so I am excited for the person that articulates why when I look at these stats and I think Vooch is good, why he's actually not good. I really would like to learn why numbers lie. And women lie. Men don't. Don't forget. Men have never told a lie. James Harden, I think, is better than Jimmy Butler. Now I'm just going to get into I'm not going to go into too much detail. Unless you think it's Markieff Morris or DeMar DeRozan. Now look how many players are going to be 36 this year in the NBA. 4. I actually don't even know if Markieff Morris is on a roster because this is last year's stats. I might be wrong about this, but I'm a James Harden fan. I'm actually a Butler and DeRozan fan, but I think Harden is going to be the best 36-year-old. Chat, what do you think? I mean, he was all NBA last season. And I know he doesn't play well in the playoffs, but I still believe. I think the Clippers are going to be good unless this whole aspiration thing takes a nasty turn. Ultimately, I think the NBA is going to do everything it can to not suspend Kawhi and not fine their biggest contributor to the basketball-related income. They're not going to try to upset. They're not going to try to bite the hand that feeds. Talk about that on the Patreon a little bit too. So, Steph Curry, the best 37-year-old, and this was tough. This was tough because I think Kevin Durant's better. I think he is, but I had to put Steph above him because I think on paper Kevin Durant is better, but I think from a spiritual aspect and leadership and sort of intangible value, it's Steph. And I think you understand what I'm saying. If you can pick one to be on your team this season, which one are you going to go with? That's right. That's right. You said Steph Curry. See, a lot more. It's crazy. There's a lot more 36-year-olds. Russ is on here, but he's not on a team right now. But he played last season. Patty Mills is sneaky. He's not on a roster either, but he's like speed running his way through the entire NBA. In the last 5 years, he's played on 7 different teams. Batum is on a roster. Who did I say? Who did I put on here? Eric Gordon. I put Brook Lopez, Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon he's on the Sixers. So Mike Conley and Joe Ingles and James Johnson. Now, you can't really argue with me on this one because I don't think Ingles is on the roster right now. I think James Johnson's still on a roster. He's still doing the Udonis Haslem thing for the Pacers. And Mike Conley is on a roster, played 71 games, 24 minutes a game. Listen, didn't have a great season, but for a guy that's going to be 37 next year, he's lucky he's in the league. I think he's the only 37-year-old that's right now on a roster. So then I went Al Horford as a 39-year-old, 9 points per game. I don't know why people are so psyched on this. Or I don't understand why people think it's relevant that they're signing Al Horford to the Warriors. Because I'm thinking about it, and I talk about this on the Patreon. Is he going to be their starting center? Are you kidding me? Or is he going to be backing up Trace Jackson Davis? The Warriors aren't going to be good, man. They're going to be fine. They're not going to be good. See, this is the whole Lowry, Green. I don't know if Garrett Temple. Garrett Temple, I believe, is still under contract with the Toronto Raptors. Good for him. CP3, again, the only 40-year-old, because Taj Gibson and PJ Tucker, they played last year, but they are not currently on a roster. And if you are like me and you like to, it's not even like I like to glaze, like I like to dick ride Chris Paul, but I just feel like he's unfairly criticized. That's what it is. I think that's what it is. I think you look at players that you like. I like Chris Paul. I like Damian Lillard too, but I feel like Damian Lillard gets too much love while Chris Paul gets too much guff. So it's not hate, it's more of a defense of my mans. Oh my God. 41, LeBron James, the only 41-year-old in the NBA right now. That is the list. That is the whole thing. I appreciate everyone being here. I love you. I love doing this show. Join the Patreon if you're interested. Every Saturday there's a podcast. It's always over 40 minutes. And it'll always be there. And it's $2 a month. So be good to your others. Eat a corn dog.